everybody, hello and welcome. As always, I'm Sean. This is In the Mixer, episode number 5 of our Pentagon Challenge. If you haven't gone and checked out the previous 4 episodes, go and have a look. It's going to bring you up to speed. It's going to catch you up with what we're trying to do in this save, where we're up to, the way the last couple of seasons have gone. Yes, I said seasons, not just a couple of episodes, because we are firing through at the moment and we're at the end of another season and we've got a very exciting episode. Silverware's on the line, potentially a new job. Also in this episode, if we can get one sorted, a whole bunch of stuff to get through, so we're going to jump straight in and see how we go. So first and foremost, we are at the end of another season with Hougang United in the Singaporean Premier League. We are top of the division, as you see there, won it as champions, 24 games played, 29 goal difference and 54 points. If we look at the expanded league table, didn't quite have it as much our way as we did last year, where we were an undefeated side, an invincible season. I think we had 20 wins and 4 draws throughout that period. We had a bit of a rough patch that we'll talk through in a little bit further, but we did win it quite comfortably, 12 points clear in the end. And it was a good few weeks ago. The challenge again with Singaporean Premier League, I've enjoyed it quite a bit, but having had these 2 under 21 players start every week is a real challenge. So we lost Daniel Crichton for a little while. We lost Ong Yuen for a little while. We tried to bring in this Solomon Osman guy to try and get them out there. But really, like, once you get beyond that, our depth is pretty terrible as far as under 21 players is. We just don't have the resources, the training facilities, the youth development to bring in consistently great players that really you only get for like a 3-year period. It's the weirdest rule I've ever seen, given that most of this squad is under the age of 23, because only 2 of them are under the age of 21. It becomes a real challenge, and we obviously don't have the cash either to be like going out and trying to buy too many players throughout the course of a season. So I'm glad that we're kind of towards the end of our time in Singapore, but we desperately want to go out in top. First season in Singapore, we did win the double. We have a chance at doing that today as well. Our final fixture that we're going to bring you guys is the Singapore Cup final against Nagata Unicorn, who are a Japanese side playing in the Singapore Premier Division. They have a very talented young team, and they've had some good results throughout the course of this season as well. Check them out if you're looking for a unique team, or potentially a team that's from one country but playing in a different nation, because they may be of interest to you. As far as the Champions League goes, we got knocked out in the group stage. We did improve just a little bit. We finished 3rd in the group instead of bottom, like last time out. We did get 2 wins during that period as well, but both were against Eastern from Hong Kong. Beijing just too strong. Seoul just way too strong. I think they inflicted our heaviest ever defeat in our time in charge. They beat us 6-1. Which really kicked off quite a rough spell for us. We had a bad run of games where we weren't really picking up any points throughout June and July, but thankfully we righted the ship a little bit, made a couple of tactical tweaks and managed to ride out the season with a pretty good undefeated streak. And interestingly, in the group stages, we did beat Nagata Unicorn 1-0. So hopefully we can get a similar result today. Then the other portion, and I should mention this before we get stuck into the game, is that my contract is up at the end of this month. So I think what we're effectively going to do is we're going to play out this last match. We're going to have a look at the job centre, maybe apply for a couple of things, and then we're going to let our contract run out and hopefully become a free agent, with a view that potentially we will be able to go after some of the jobs that are out there in the market. There's a couple right now. I think once the season actually ends, we might see a few more come through. I don't really want to go back to Malaysia. I don't really want to go to Singapore. Potentially we make a jump to like a mid-tier place, like Indonesia would be the lower end of that barrel. The A-League would be the middle. Ideally, we want to try and get even into the second divisions in like Korea or China. That would be the absolute dream. But first and foremost, we need to try and win this title and get ourselves a double to finish on a high with Hougang United. And this lineup we're going with like our 4-2-3-1 shape. It's a little bit gegenpressy at the moment. We're going with the attacking instruction. We have been using this possession-based style as well. That really helped drag us out of our form slump, which was very helpful, I think, at an important part of the season. We've had some great players this season. Tomoyuki Doi, again, won the player of the season. The interesting part about that is he was actually injured for 3 months of the year, which is absolutely crazy. In a short season, that's a really long time. He actually scored 14 goals in 14 league games to win the Golden Boot this season. Has just come back into full form and fitness as well. So thrilled to be getting him back in for the final itself. But really just a solid group, a lot of 2.5-star, 3-star players. You don't need like 5-star players in every position to win this division at a canter. But we will see how the opposition lines up as well. We did beat them quite convincingly. You can see there 4 wins out of our last 5. It was a draw last time out in the semi-finals of this cup competition. They're playing a 4-4-2. It looks pretty straightforward. You can see there's quite a few regen players in there. They are starting to come through thick and fast. And I do think Nagata has like an age limit on the players that they'll play as well. I think it's really just young Japanese talent trying to get first team experience before they make moves either back to Japan or elsewhere in the division. You can see the ball here. Crichton's going to clean it up. Now, Shahran, who's been in and out of the squad. I was originally going to sell him at the start of the season when you guys think back to last episode. We didn't in the end. We kept him around as like a 5th choice central midfielder, which actually worked out well because we let a couple of players go throughout the course of the year, just based on them being too old and us needing to get 21-year-old players out there. And we've scored a goal inside 7 minutes. Jordan Vestering, the captain of the side, has absolutely rifled that one home. It's a very good strike from him. You can see Singh Sidhu does quite well. Shahran, who we just spoke about. Ball in here to Doi, who's very good out of the air, brings it down, plays it to Vestering on his wrong foot as well. He's left-footed naturally. He's our left back, and he's rifled that one in from the edge of the area and potentially put us towards getting the first hand on the cup there. In the third place playoff, DPMM, who were the previous kind of like champion team, the biggest side in the region, and LC Sailors, who when we arrived were favourites for the league title before we won it. Throw in here, first real highlight we've seen in Nagata's possession. It's a ball across in midfield. Now overlapping fullback, Kato comes out to claim. Crichton with a good header away. Ong Yuen may get there first. He's got Doi to the right. Looks for a reverse pass to him now, and he's gotten goal side and gets the strike away, but his second effort just takes it out for a goal kick, but a good little counter attack. 15 remaining in the half. We're going to use a demand more shout just to hopefully give everyone some focus through to half time. And 3 additional minutes to be added onto the first half. We have got a late highlight here. Throwing on the left. Shahran all the way back to Crichton. Good ball into Singh Sidhu. Now Zulkifli. Oh, not a bad effort from the edge of the area, just beyond the far post. I think the keeper was scrambling as well, but the referee calls half-time. We are thoroughly on top at the moment. 1-0 up, 15 shots, 9 on target, 1.05 XG and 56% possession. 2 shots, 1 on target, 0.17 XG for Nagata. We're going to say I'm pleased with how things are going. Keep it up. We're also going to drop off a little bit. We're going to go back to this possession-based style. We're going to play a little bit deeper and hopefully keep the ball, and if they look to come and press us, we'll drag them out and hopefully get behind their defensive line. Couple of players here whose condition isn't looking great. Couple of match ratings that aren't, setting the world on fire. But I think what we'll do is we will give it 15 minutes and then we're going to have a look at making some changes. Potentially, we'll make all 3 changes at once. We will see how we go and we'll see how Nagata come out here in the second half. I think we can see this one out. I don't think they've challenged too much in the first half. And just like that, we are at the 60-minute mark. No further highlights. We're just going to go on condition here. I'm not going to worry too much about match ratings. Vestering, the goal scorer, needs to come off. Darren Tate will come on. He started quite a few games last season, but this year has been more of a bit part role. Ong Yuen will come off for Harry McCoy. We've got to leave him out there because we don't have an under-21 player to swap him with. Tomoyuko Doi will come off for Fariz Fahan, who's come up with some big goals in good scenarios for us. And then Cameron Edds will come off for Ryan Stewart, who's a player that we picked up early on in the off-season, who's been quite handy for us. Can fill in at centre-back, can fill in at right-back, can fill in as a ball-winning midfielder. Makes it nice and helpful when we're trying to make limited substitutions. We're going to use demand more as well, just to hopefully give everyone some focus. And there is a highlight here. So Kilkie back to Stewart. Now Shahran, good overlapping ball here for Zulaiman. Good ball towards backstick. It runs all the way through. Tay puts it straight back in. And I think so Kilkie has gone down. It's going to be Sulzlaman, who's not had a great game. He was one of the lower match ratings we've got. If he gets this penalty, which he does, and he puts it straight down the middle and straight at Yamanaka in goal, I think if I hadn't taken Edwards off just then, he would have taken that penalty, and he's got a pretty good retention rate. We'll see if that one comes back to bite us any further. Sidhu with an excellent strike. Yamanaka again with an excellent save, pushes it out for the corner. Sidhu goes near post, pinballs around. Kimitsuki, Tays right there with him. Good tackle, pushes it out for the throw-in. Again, no real highlights for Nagata, but the longer this game goes, the longer it makes me think we're going to see like an 89th minute highlight for them. 10 minutes remain. We're going to use demand more. They've got a short free kick. It's closed down well. Forward line isn't really interested in going after it, which is frustrating. Shahran finds Farhan. Now Ong Yuen on the left-hand side. Goes with a decent strike, gets it on target. Yamanaka again with an excellent save. Sidhu here with the corner. The highlight continues. Is there going to be any sealer goals? Farhan was at back post, but it's cleared away well, and the highlight comes to an end. Deep free kick here, Zulaiman in towards Crichton. It's pinballing around there in the box. Stewart needs to get there first and does. Zulaiman, now Sidhu, work it left to right. And with a decent strike, Yamanaka has been excellent for Nagata in the second half. Immediately sends it up the other way. Crichton with a lovely header. Seeing Sidhu, poor ball, but we managed to get possession back. Can he find the reverse pass? Looks for Shahran instead. Seeing Sidhu, ball to Farhan. It's a good save again from Yamanaka. He seems to be the only one keeping us out at the moment. A heroic performance for the keeper from Japan. But 3 minutes of added time. Can we get through it? And we have indeed 1-0 victors to seal a double for the season. We are going to jump into the dressing room and we're going to passionately tell everybody, congratulations, that was a good performance. Everybody seems inspired and motivated. And we get to go out in our time in Singapore on the back of a win, which is absolutely fantastic. And we actually celebrated a famous treble. I forgot. We won the Community Shield at the start of the season. So we won every trophy available in Singapore this season for the first time, which is fantastic to see. I'm one of the top Australian managers. I'm not. I'm 10th. And the 9th one is my St. Pauli career from the beta save earlier this year. So we do end winning 3 of the 4 competitions we were in. The Asian Champions League is very, very challenging. But we'll continue to work through that in different seasons as well. We'll check out quickly this end of season review. New arrivals that came in. Suleiman, the right back that you just saw miss a penalty. Bahari, our goalkeeper. Stewart, who I mentioned, his versatility has been excellent for us this season. Results were excellent, finishing top of the division and a good average home attendance. Top goal scorer Tomoyoki Doi, as we spoke about. Biggest win, 5-0 against Geylang International. Match to remember, a 3-2 away victory against Eastern in the Champions League. And goal of the season goes to Ong Yuen in a 1-1 draw with Balestier. The club rep and national rep don't seem to change at any point, which is quite frustrating. You'd think we'd be up to like 1.5 stars now after good results the last few seasons. Revenue's all good, merchandise is all good. And the starting 11, to be honest, is pretty much straight exactly what I expected it to be. Darren Tay starting is a little bit interesting. And Marla still being inside despite leaving us back in January. Very impressive. He made the jump over to Johor in Malaysia for decent cash. And to be honest, we weren't playing him anyway because we had to have an under 21 talent out there in his position. Summary here, it was a superb season for the Cheetahs as they claimed their 3rd successive title to back up their preseason credentials. And we also won the treble, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, we've got the interesting job of going and having a look at what jobs are open. So at the moment, Sarawak United in Malaysian Premier League, Penang in the Malaysian Super League, which I'm not really interested in. Cool kit combo though. And then LC Sailors, Lion City Sailors here in Singapore as well. I'm not worried about them. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump forward to the end of November when my contract expires. And then once that's actually expired, we are going to leave the club and come back on the 1st of December. Hopefully, heading into a free agent market with a few more jobs on the line. That's really what we want to be out there trying to get. And I would love to get a job before the new season starts in a lot of these different countries. All right, so jumping forward to the 1st of December, it seems that my full-time contract is now just gone month to month. So I'm just going to resign. We're just going to deal with that. Immediate effect. I've left. That's fine. They've got a few different people that are in the running for that job, which is fine. That's no real concern. We'll do these unfollow suggestions, which is great. Now we're going to have a look at the job center because a couple of different jobs have come up that could potentially be interesting. The 2 that I really want to focus on are Heilong Jiang Bingchen in the Chinese National First Division. Or do I want to see first if I can get this job here in the Chinese Super League with Guangzhou Evergrande? You may have heard of them a few different times. They've had some fantastic players throughout the course of their history. We're going to apply for that one first, and we're just going to see what happens. The current leading candidate, Michael O'Neill, 55-year-old Northern Irishman, looks decent. Was it Shamrock Rovers? Was it Northern Ireland? Or was it Stoke? Milestones hasn't done too much, though. Most of his wins and stuff back during his time in Ireland. Maybe I'll declare interest in the Guangzhou job as well. We'll see how that goes. I'll tell them that I'm interested. They'd be like a little bit of a fallen giant. I think lately different teams have been involved, but certainly Guangzhou back in the day were one of the bigger ones. Here we go. Their previous manager, Peter Bosch, looks decent. He's got a good pedigree. He was manager at Borussia Dortmund and Bayer Leverkusen way back when, and Ajax before that as well. So yeah, he's had quite the career. Maybe I'm still too small fry for Guangzhou to look at. I'm not entirely sure, but we will see. All right, now a few more jobs have come up, which is fantastic. Nantong here, Nantong Ziyun. They've got a fantastic kit. That checkerboard across the board is fantastic. We are definitely going to apply for that job as well. Another job's come up here in Indonesian League 2. Not really worried about that one. Persiyap in Indonesian League 2 is also become available. Serang in Indonesian League 2. I'm not worried about Indonesian League 2, but they are the jobs that continue to come up. So we'll leave those for the moment. We're just going to apply for that Nantong job as well. And potentially is a bit of a safeguard as well. I'm going to add another league in, which is the South African National First Division and above. Maybe we have to start in Africa. It won't start for a while though. So we're just going to put that as backup. If we go 6 months without a job, we'll be in a bit of trouble. So maybe we'll load that one in as a last resort if we need to take it. First job coming up in Korea, Gangwon in the K-League 1. We are definitely going to apply for this job. And actually Gangwon, I just noticed there on the news flash, just showed that they've been relegated into the second division, which could actually help our case a little bit if they're looking to come back up from the lower leagues. So our old job has gone to Felipe Orr. Singaporean, not international. What are his milestones? Reunited with Hugang. He was never Hugang before. Maybe he played there. It says he managed him, but it's not in his milestone history. So yeah, way back in the day he did. Interesting. We'll see what he can do. I left him a pretty secure squad. No one's contracts were up or anything like that. No real movement on the job front. I keep getting suggested this Arima FC position, which has got a couple of little interesting caveats there. Play attacking football, high tempo pressing football, develop players using the club's youth system, and we're not allowed to sign non-Indonesian players. That one is very interesting. They are in League 2, and 13,000 as a wage bill. Not terrible. It's better than what we had previously. I think we were working with about 4 at Singapore, but I don't really want to go to Indonesia. I want to make a jump up. We can see Gwangyang, Jeonnam Dragons have actually sacked their manager. So we're going to apply for that job as well, because why not? More jobs in Indonesia are coming up, but none that I'm particularly interested in. All right, Guangzhou, not interested. Okay, fair enough. Jeonnam, laugh off the interest from in the mixed up. That's not encouraging, but we have got a job interview with Nantong Ziyun. This fantastic kit is really the only thing that would potentially drag me across to them. I haven't even looked at their squad. I just got distracted by the kit. So usual responses, but this is the interesting one. Club culture cannot sign non-Chinese goalkeepers. So we'd have to have a Chinese goalkeeper. We have to work within wage budget, which is fine. We already do that. They want a top half finish in the 2nd division. That's not that difficult, I don't think. And reach the 4th round of the cup. I'm not sure how difficult that is. And then they just want us to finish top half finishes. So that's fine. That's pretty low stress. They're saying we could exceed expectations and say that we're potentially going to try and get an automatic promotion spot or finish in the top 4 places in the league. I'm going to go with that middle one. Let's go with that. Transfer budget of 4.96 million is on offer should you get the job. What do you think of the proposed figure? I'm going to say I'd happily work with a slightly smaller transfer budget than that if appointed manager. It's a lower division. I'm sure I could wrangle some free transfers and loan signings as well. I'll agree to the existing proposed wage budget. That's fine. And I've got no additional requests to propose. Let's see what they come back with. Nantong could be the foot in the door for us to get to China, albeit going the long way, starting in the lower division and then working our way up to Champions League and then obviously league titles. Guangzhou ended up hiring Michael O'Neill as manager. That's an interesting one. So one of the responses I gave was to withdraw applications at other jobs to try and be serious about this one. So apparently I've withdrawn myself from the Gangwon and Jeonnam jobs, which is annoying. I didn't realize that was going to happen automatically. Jiangxi Liangshan has also come up. We'll wait and see the response on this Nantong job before we apply for anything further. And we've been unsuccessful with Nantong, which is very frustrating because we withdrew our name from the running with all that other stuff. So this one's going to be a bit of a long slog, I can already tell. Wuhan, 3 towns. Wuhan have been in the news over the last 12 months for the wrong reasons. Maybe I can get them back in for footballing reasons as well. They are 1st division. I cannot apply for the Jeonnam job and I cannot apply for the Gangwon job, which is very frustrating. All right, and here we go. We've got a Wuhan 3 towns job interview. How'd you overcome not speaking the language? That's fine. Compromise. Reservations regarding you've never managed in this country? That's fine. I've got experience in 2 countries now. I'm looking at a 3rd. Lacks variety. I've shown loyalty to the clubs. Why have you felt acceptable to apply for a number of jobs whilst employed by another team throughout your career? I'm not letting anything get in the way of my ambition. Let's see that. You've previously been embroiled in media controversies about ability to command support of players. That was like the first week at the first club and then we won the league. Want to ensure that the dressing room atmosphere is much better than under our previous manager. I promise I'll cultivate a healthy dressing room. Are you comfortable managing a team in considerable financial trouble? It'll be a hard challenge, but I'm up for it. Again, cannot sign non-Chinese goalkeepers, work within wage budget, and they just want us to avoid relegation. So this would be a team right at the bottom. They want by the end of next season to grow the club's reputation and to repair the club's financial damage. So I'm guessing their finances are not in a great area. They're saying we want us to avoid relegation. I'll go with that because I don't know how good their squad is. Wage budget, I'll just agree to it. That's fine. And I've got no additional requests. All right, so I've kept that as generic and as going along with that. I've been a yes man in that interview. That's the strategy that I'm employing. We will see if that is more effective than previously. All right, here we go. We're going to make our way to China. So Wuhan 3 towns have offered 2.1k per week. We're immediately going to go into our preferences and change this to Chinese yuan, which is 10k per week. Excellent. Wage budget 115k per week. Start negotiations. Yes, I can do that. Relegation wage drop, remove that. Percentage of club compensation required. Fine, no problem. If the financial crisis is as bad as they say, I'm going to work for half the money that they've offered me, but a 2-year deal. That's, I think, good progress. and they seem pretty happy with that. We'll see if they offer me the job. They have indeed. So Wuhan, 3 towns have hired in the mixer. We've made our way to China, arguably the biggest nation in Asia, certainly as far as Champions League spots is concerned. And we've got a big task. We're at the very, very bottom of the second division, and we're going to try and work our way back up. Avoid relegation this season. Don't sign any non-Chinese goalkeepers. That's pretty straightforward. I think I can manage all of that stuff. No press conference. Let's skip that part. And let's have a look at how we're doing. So we're 17th in the Chinese National First Division, but the season hasn't started, which is fantastic. Season preview. They're looking like Miziao are going to be the big ones. Miziao, Haka, Qingdao, Guangzhou Shidi, who've come up a couple of times. Guizhou, Better City, we're not the bottom, we're the bottom 3. They've got 2 teams coming up, including JX Lianshan, who was one of the previous teams that also had a job opening that we didn't get. There's a lot of players in the last year of their contracts, but there's a lot of players here that have decent current ability or potential ability, which is fantastic. All right, we're going to load up our 2 Pentagon 4-2-3-1 shapes, and we're going to have a look at the squad and see how they look. It's not bad. There's some talent there. You can see some of these numbers here jumping out at you. Aren't terrible at all. So we've got some stuff to work with, which is fascinating. What we might do is we might end it there, right? So we've got a new job. We know we're going to be starting episode 6, which will likely come out at some point this weekend. What I think we might do is we might go through our off season. Our league games don't start for a couple more weeks, which is great. We've got a few friendlies that we're going to get through. And I think that also gives us a chance to go and evaluate the squad and maybe look at what areas we need to improve. They've got some young players in there. Have they got any under 23s? They do. They've got a couple down here as well, which aren't terrible. So I think we've got a lot to work with, which is very exciting. I'm very, very thrilled to finally be making the jump across to China. It's taken a while, but I think we've finally gotten there. And we will go through, and in the next episode, we'll go through our preseason results. I'll introduce you guys to the squad, and maybe we'll bring you the first game of the off season as well. I think that's an exciting way to do it. So make sure you tune in to check that one out. All right, it took us a while, but we've finally gotten a new job. You will see a new flag and a new club crest up on next episode for this one. We have made the jump across to China as well, which I'm very excited about. Potentially, we're either going to try and take this Wuhan side all the way to the top of the top flight, or we may leapfrog into another job at this level or within China itself. It should be very exciting to see how that actually plays out. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. That's the part that I appreciate the most. Thanks for bearing with me while I've tried to find another job, making the jump from Singapore. We've won 4 divisional titles in a row each season in the Pentagon Challenge so far. Can we make it 5 with the Chinese National Second Division? We shall see. If you do want to support the channel that little bit further, drop a like on this video. Helps us get higher in YouTube search results when people look for Football Manager content. If you do want to be kept up to date on all of our future videos, subscribe to the channel as well. And of course, go and check out the reserve team also for all the stuff relating to Australian New Zealand football. If you want to check out more of that content, that's where you can find me each and every week. But more than anything, as always, I just appreciate you guys watching. I've been Sean, and I'll see you all again in the mixer.